And that's definitely going to be fine for the Protoss, but at least he was able to scout it out and know what's going on here. You see the immediate cannon in the pylon, though, from Duckloadra, and it's definitely a good cannon right there, because we do have a couple of Banshees from behind looking to use that cloak once again and cause some immediate harassment on this tower. We have the Observer nearby as well, so even if the cannon is not in range, they can definitely send the Stalkers over here, but you see him take out one probe at least, but microing them away as knowing that we're being pressured. So again, Duckloadra, he's staying with a very basic strategy of going to Stalkers and Zealots for this time being. We now see him building some Immortals currently. He also has a Twilight Council being built. It looks like he upgraded Blink ability for his, so he upgraded Blink now for his Stalkers, trying to give them a little bit more movement, especially against those siege tanks. Obviously, you want to get there as soon as possible in their face. He's now going to take out this Destructible Rock from the backside, and I don't know if Goody, Goody, he could definitely see the animation right there. He knows the rock is dropping, so, and then there you can see the Stalkers, in fact. So he definitely knows that the Protoss players are here currently. We have an SCV actually getting taken out, and he cancels. I'm not sure what that was. I think it was a Barracks, but it gets immediately canceled as soon as they started putting pressure on it. So this Destructible Rock's going to be taken out right here, it looks like, by Duckloadra. But here goes Goody, setting up these siege tanks, getting ready for the attack. He says, bring it on, mother... Or you know what I'm saying. We do have, again, it looks like 6 or 7 Stalkers right here. The Observer going out in front, but there's a scan right on top. They can see the Observer now. Is this Viking going to be able to take out the Observer? Yes, he should be able to. Very good scan right there. We see the port in from the Stalkers. Not the greatest blink, though. Didn't really do much for them as they pretty much plunked right on top of the ramp. Blinked. I don't know. What the hell does that mean? But they didn't really do too much there. So a good pick there by the Viking. Excellent scan once again, able to see that Observer. And now he's using another scan up here at this expansion. We do have several more pylons coming out and a simulator being built, but this expansion is dead to rights. There's no chance. He's got massive Hellions right here from Goody. He is just looking to really play, because those so many Zealots and Stalkers, the all ground units, that group up. The Hellions definitely very effective against that. Siege tanks as well for that reason, because of the grouping up. So very smart play right here by Goody. He has taken out this expansion. You see the Vikings scouting around in case anything happens, and a couple more scans coming out in case the Observers are there. But here comes the Hellions. Just the Stalkers just going dead to rights right into them. We have the Immortal coming in now. They're definitely pretty effective against these units, but unfortunately only 4 of them matched up about against 20 or so units right here. But actually the Duckloadra doing a quite effective fight right here. The siege tank's not doing enough, but the Dark Templars, I wasn't even paying attention to that. The Dark Templars, though, huge for Duckloadra. That's why we saw the scans trying to catch them, but the Dark Templars take out the tanks from behind. Good spread right there from Duckloadra. The Protoss player going in for pretty much 3 sides right there. The Stalkers from behind, the Immortals from the front side, and then of course the Dark Templars going from behind and flanking the tanks. But again, in the meantime, Goody, just because he lost a team fight right there, does not mean he's going to slow down on his Banshees attack. He's now continuing the harassment on top of these probes. He pretty much takes out all the probes there at the expansion. Now he's going to fall back. Probe in terms of probe units, it still is more for this for the Protoss side, but he definitely has lost quite a bit of units. Unfortunately, we have the Stalkers now blinking up on top of this ramp right here. But unless they have the Observer come over here, they're not going to spot these Banshees. So a nice getaway once again. We have an SCV kind of running in here. Not sure what he's doing. So we'll see. The Terran definitely has decisions to make, and he needs to get that stealth detection out here in terms of if he wants to make another push, or he could just look to use the orbital command like he did right there, and actually taking out the Dark Templar with another nice scan. So let's take a look at how many orbital commands he has. He has 1, 2. Looks like he only has 2 for the time being. He's going to turn this one into a planetary fortress, actually, so that it's not going to be a orbital command. Instead, it's going to have the turret on top of it. But he's at least got 2 scans. If you're winning a strategy like this, though, you want to have at least 3 or 4, so unless he gets another orbital command up, I don't know how confident he isn't necessarily pushing without having enough scans. But with only 2, you need to make sure that you land those scans exactly. But here comes the Blankets for the Stalkers. The Dark Templar is also rushing in. The turret is nearby though, so they are seeing. They're trying to do as much pressure though on these tanks right here. The tanks get taken out. Those Immortals are just so powerful. They are so powerful against those tanks and ground type units. Now they're taking out this planetary fortress, which was just finished. It's doing its best to DPS these Zealots down, but the planetary fortress dropping too fast. The Immortals turning their attention onto the tanks right here, trying to top that one tank. Tops an Immortal though, and another Immortal very, very low, but not the best microwave. The tanks attacking the other one, and both Immortals stay alive. They take out all 4 tanks right there. Now they're trying to take out this turret, but that tank right there got its kill on both of those Immortals, and that's going to finish that push. So again, a little bit of I thought Duckloadra was actually looking pretty good there, but unfortunately Just a little bit of more defense being set up from Goody, and he's able to save his base. Another scan coming out up here. He actually catches another Dark Templar, so he's been doing a really good job of that. But you see the gateways coming in right here. The Blinks coming in right on top of the siege tanks, trying to make them do damage to themselves, if anything. But here come the Hellions as well. These Stalkers stand no chance. You see another scan coming out. Not even necessary, though. The Dark Templars are nowhere nearby. Here comes a Raven, a Viking joining the party as well. And here comes the siege onto this expansion once again. Here comes the Banshees to them from the backside. So a very diverse army right here from Goody once again. And this expansion, really no chance of saving it at this point. Immortal, along with 5 Zealots, are running over there. We have several probes running over here as well. I'm not sure what they plan on doing, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But you see the siege tanks in siege mode currently. The Hellions, he's microing these Hellions and Marines, a few Marines that he has, as well as the Viking, to kind of fall back into that expansion. He's spotted all these Zealots coming. So a good chunk of Zealots right here for the Protoss player, as he has 11 in total, as only 2 Immortals. So right now, you look at the units, and definitely in favor of Goody once again. But more Stalkers being warped in. Those warp gates just so powerful. You can just get Stalkers, just pretty much in a snap of a finger with these Protoss players. So he's able to build up his army once again fairly quickly. And you got to wonder if Goody lost on an opportunity right there to perhaps push more of a more important base rather than the very out-extended expansion that was just built up. But at least it would take out that expansion and preventing them from getting even more farm out of that. But again, the Stalkers keep coming back up to 11 Stalkers right away, just like that. So he's pretty confident with the Stalker Immortal Zealot type build, as long in the Dark Templars occasionally. I don't even know if he's worrying about Dark Templars anymore, though. He knows that Goody has been pretty on top of those those visions, maybe those scans. That's the word I was looking for, those scans. And he also has quite a bit of turrets built in his base now, simply for the stealth detection. So he's not even bought. Well, he does have 1 Dark Templar now. Going to maybe try to do something with it, maybe scout things out, see how it looks. But obviously, he won't be able to do too much with all those turrets nearby. As army again just growing and growing for Duckloadra. So we'll see if this is going to prove to pay off for Goody. He isn't playing as aggressive as I expected him to be. Well, they try to blink in. No, they're not. A little bit too far away. A nice scan right there, right on top of the army. But not even necessary, because the Dark Templar, of course, not even there. He's actually over here, as you can see. But, of course, Goody can't see that. It's a little bit easier when you're a spectator. More Immortals being built. He now has 4. So we saw how powerful those were last time. And now he's charging into the base. The Blink's coming in right on top of the SCVs. We do have 3 siege cannons right here, trying to finish off these Immortals, but the siege tank's just not nearly powerful enough. Good positioning right there by Duckloadra. Here comes the Blinks once again from the sentries, or excuse me, the Stalkers. They're taking out the SCVs, trying to finish off this planetary fortress. I don't know if they're going to be able to. It looks like they might be able to. And there goes a planetary fortress. Very good pick right there. Excellent kill for them, and they're going to continue this push, of course. Those Immortals just so powerful again. Good job of microing them in front of the wave and allowing them to take the brunt of the force. Obviously, that hardened shield definitely reducing a good chunk of the damage. But here goes a counterattack now by Goody, so it's going to become a race. And who's going to blink first in terms of falling back to the base to defend, or are we going to see a rush right here? We do have Hellions meeting these Immortals and Stalkers. It looks like Duckloadra falling back with the majority of his units. There's still a good chunk of Stalkers, though, in the base. Goody trying his best to keep the harassment up with these siege tanks, harassing another expansion. But again, the Stalker's just doing so much more damage on this expansion. This is the last expansion right here for this Terran player. His minerals are completely expired, as well as his gas, and one of his gases has expired. So I would not be surprised to see a forfeit any time now from Goody, unfortunately. It looks like just getting overrun by Duckloadra. So yeah, the GG's come out, and that's going to do it. He leaves the game, making it official. So Goody gets defeated here by the Protoss player, Duckloadra. And Duckloadra, you definitely got to give him a lot of credit. He definitely persevered right there, and played it very, very smart. Went with a very strong army, as we saw from those Immortals. Good job of microwave, positioning perfectly, and just well played by him, obviously. So Duckloadra is your champion here. And that's going to do it for this cast. And once again, I was breakycpk, your shoutcasting host, and this was a StarCraft 2 cast. I was kind of testing the waters once again. This is my first ever really kind of serious cast with a competitive game for StarCraft 2, so figured I'd give it a try. But anyways, so I'm from Shoutcasted.com. If you want to check me out over there, Heroes of New Earth, a great game as well. But if stuff works out, might look to get into StarCraft 2 casting as well. Well, we will see. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay tuned to me. It sounds funny saying Shoutcasted.com on a StarCraft 2 cast, but anyways, thank you. Okay, bye.